Are you struggling to combine data from multiple tables in SQL? That's where joins comes in. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down inner join, left join, and right join in the simplest way possible so you'll never be confused anymore, right? So that brings us to what joining is all about. So to join table means to combine data from two or more tables using a common column, using a common unique identifier. Think of it like this. You have a customer table, you have a payment table. Now join helps you to connect them using something like customer ID. And I'm going to be sharing with you what I have in my word. So we have our customer table, we have our payment table. Now you want to see amount of customers, right? But you don't have the customer's name in your payment table. To be able to see customers and how much they spent, buying products from you, from your business, you need to join these two tables together. And to join these tables together, there's what we call a unique identifier. What makes them to relate? What relationship do they have? Now, these two tables, your customer table, your payment table, they are related by customer ID. You can see customer ID 1 in table 1 and also customer ID 1 in table 2 in your payment table. So we always have one thing, the two tables have in common, and it's usually dates or it's usually their ID numbers, right? So joining helps you to connect these two tables together. Now we are going to be focusing on three most important joins in SQL. We are going to be focusing on inner join, left join, and right join. So that being said, I'm going to introduce what inner join means. What your inner join does is that it returns only the rows that have exact match in both tables. Now take a look at table 1. You can see customers, and in table 2 you can see payments table, right? In customer table, which is our first table, we have customer ID, customer name, and email. And in our payment table, which is table 2, you can see payment ID, customer ID, amount, and also date. Now what inner join does is this. Inner join will only show you what information you have in your first table, which is your customer table, that you also have in your payment table. So if you look at customer ID 1 is also in your payment table, ID 2 is also in your payment table, ID 3 is also in your payment table, ID 4 in customer table is not in your payment table. Inner join is not going to show you that information. ID 5 is not in your payment table, inner join is not going to show you that information. ID 7 is not in your customer table, inner join is not going to show you that information. What inner join is going to show you is what you have that matches each other exactly in the both tables. So you have one in customer, you have one in payment, you're going to see the information. You have two in customer, you have two in payment, you're going to see the information. You have three in customer, you have three in payment, you're going to see the information. So all the information that you're going to see is what 1, 2, and 3 that has customer IDs. Okay, that's what your inner join does. Your inner joins returns exact matches. All the IDs you have in the first table must be the same IDs that you have in the second table. That's what your inner join does. So let's go back to our PG admin to query some information, right? So I'm going to title this inner join. So let's select show, or rather I'm going to use show me customers. Show me customers who made payments, right? So the usual way, you select first. So let's select everything from our customer, right? Let's see what is in our customer table. Let's run this first. So we have first name, we have last name, we have customer ID. Let's also see what we have in our payment table, because we have amount in our payment table and the question says show me customer with their payments. So let's select everything from payments. You have to spell it exactly the way it is spelled in your table. Your table name is payment, so it has to be spelled exactly the way it is. SQL is very case sensitive. So let's go. So we can see that we have amount. So now to be able to merge these columns, right? you have a unique identifier. What you can see in table 2, you can also see in table 1 is what? Customer ID. So you're going to be matching these two tables with what? Customer ID. Now look at this. This is customer ID in our payment table, which is table 2. So let's look at table 1 one more time. You're going to see customer ID as well. So now we want to use inner join to show us customers and their amounts. So what we're going to do is select. What do we want to see? We want to see first underscore name. We also want to see last underscore name. We want to see their email. Okay. We also want to see amount from the second table, right? You're going to come back. But mind you, always remember to put your comma at the end of each column and leave the last column without a comma, right? So you want to use from what table? The next statement is from what table? So what do you want to join all of these first columns with? We want to join it with what? Or rather, our first table is what? Our customer table. Our first, all these columns we have here is from our customer table. So we're going to use customer, right? It is spelled customer, there's no S. So we are going to rename this customer C, right? Why this is important is because this C is what we are going to use to let SQL know that, I'm going to bring this down, to let SQL know that this first name is from customer table. This last name is from customer table. So you add your C dots. This email is from customer table and this amount is from P, payment table. You're going to name it P dots. So you're going to enter the next statement, which is your inner join. Inner join what on what? That's what it means. What table do you want to use to join with this your customer C? You want to use payments, right? Payment table, right? Yes. So you're going to name this as P. That's why we are using this P with amount column, right? Because our amount is from our payment table. So now on what do you want to join these two tables together? What relationship do they have in common? They have customer ID in both tables. So we are going to use customer what? Customer ID, right, is equals to customer underscore ID. Now, this is not absolutely correct because this first customer ID is coming from what table? We have not signified to SQL that this customer ID belongs to the first table, which is our customer table. We are going to write C dot, right? And the second customer ID is coming from what table? You have to signify. You're going to type P dot, right? So this is the end of the query. So you're going to run this now, highlight and then execute. So you will now see first name, last name, email, and the amount. Can you see? So you have merged two tables together. You have joined two tables together to get information, to get analysis out, right? So you can now see your first name, last name, and you can see amount. So let's say that because we have duplicate copies, right? We have Peter Menard, Peter Menard, Peter Menard, but this person actually made several payments, probably on different products. But let's say now we want to see just a unique Peter Menard. We don't want duplicate names of our customers. We want to see how much in total all of these customers performed. All we are going to do is, I'm going to run the query again, select so we don't get confused. I'm going to select what I want to see. I want to see first underscore name. First underscore name, right? I also want to see last underscore name. I want to see email. I also want to see amount, right? So now the first name is from what table? Is from C dot customer table, C dot customer table. The email is from C dot customer table, and the P dot is from payment table. From what? So my payment amount, I'm supposed to add some because I want to see a unique Peter Menard. We have Peter Menard entry more than 2 times. I only want to see each customers and the total amount that they made for the business. So I'm going to use my sum, right? And I'm going to put my P amount in brackets. Sum P amount. So the next thing I want to do now is my from statement. From what table is this first table from? Is this first columns that we have is from customer? So we are going to name it customer. Sorry, customer C, right? You want to inner join with what? Inner join payments. Payment P, right? And then you want to join on what? On their ID numbers. This on means what is their relationship? Are you getting it? What make them to relate? What thing do they have in common? So it's customer ID. So we're going to use C dot customer ID. This C dot means is from this first customer ID is coming from your customer table, right? Yeah. And the P dot means the second customer ID is coming from your payment table. Please do not forget that. So now let's go. We want to see, I'm going to have to label this. So let's show me customers with their total amount. Yes, total amount means sum, right? Yeah, so you just know when to use your aggregate function. But since we are using our aggregate function, remember, when you use your aggregate function, you will need to use your group by, all right, because your aggregate function works with your group by. Remember, in our previous class I said your group by is your filtering clause. You can't just use aggregate function without having to include your group by. So you have to add our group by. Now when you're grouping by, you want to group by all of these columns here that you have in your first table. Are you getting it? So we are going to group by this. Just copy this, Control C, Control V, comma, copy the second column, Control C, Control V, copy the third column, Control C, I use comma and Control V. Okay, so let's execute this script now. If you're following my previous class, you would understand why we used group by clause. Oh, we didn't add our comma. Sorry about that, guys. So it's very important that you add your comma, right? So I'm meant to add my C dot, yeah, and my C dot email. So if to understand where your error is coming from, just read your error message. It's going to give you an idea of why your query has not been run correctly. So our syntax error is near C last name. It's because we didn't add comma, right? So let's go. Yes, so we can now see just a unique name. We can see a unique name. We can see first name, last name, email, and some. We didn't rename our, we didn't rename this, so we have to come back to rename it as total amount. Total underscore amount. We're using alias to rename, right? Remember in our previous classes, I already shared what you use AS for. Your alias is used for what? Renaming your column. Yeah, so we can see now total amount. We can see lean pain. You will not see what? A name that appears more than twice. Yeah. So let's say we want to see the customer IDs, right? Because I said your inner join only shows you rows that have exact matches in the both tables, in your first table and your second table, your payment table and your customer table. So let's just add customer ID. So I'm just going to add that here, C dot customer underscore ID, right? I'm going to add that to my group by C dot customer underscore ID. So let's rerun this again. Yeah. comma. I didn't add my comma, I'm sorry. Let's go. Yeah, so we can see customer ID. So our work is kind of like scattered. How do you rearrange your work in SQL? If you can remember, you use your order by. That's our sorting clause. So if you want to order by IDs, you can order by IDs to see, it arranged in a descending order. Or if you want to order by amount, right? So I'm just going to do that here. So inner join payment, I want to use my order by. Your order by is usually your last query. So I'm going to use order by. Do we want to use our IDs to order by? Yes, so we want to use customer, that's c dot customer ID underscore ID. You want to sort this in a descending order, or let's use ascending. ASC is for ascending order. Take out the semicolon here and put it here. And let's execute. So we can see that we just rearranged our query now, our results in an ascending order from one to whatever the result is. And let's say we want to see customers that only scored above 100. So how to do that, right? So we're just going to scroll down. We want to see customers that scored above 100. All you're going to do is just come before your order by. You come before your order by and use your having. Remember, in our previous class, your having clause works with your aggregate function, right? But it helps you to filter specifically what you want to see. Do you want to see results greater than? Do you want to see results lower than? Do you want to see results equals to? Okay, so we're going to use our having total amounts. Our having, what we have here is our sum. So we're just going to copy this, right? Control C and then paste it here. We want to just see amounts greater than $100, right? So that's it. Oh, let me see what we have here. Control X, Control V. Let's paste it here. I'm going to just have to bring this down so we see everything, right? So let me just rearrange our work. Yeah, yeah. Okay, right. Having some amount greater than 100, order by ascending order. Yes, so let's run this now. You just need to know when to use each query, when to use each statement, what statement comes after the other. Okay, so if you see now, we answered several questions using our inner join, using our different statements. Okay, so please just go through the previous classes to understand when you use each of these statements, right? What you use your group by for, what you use your having for, and what you use your order by for. Now you can see we ordered by our customer ID, which is showing us from 1 to blah blah blah, and we can see our having some is only showing us payments above 100. You will not see anything below 100. Can you see that now? And let's say you want to see just top 5. Take out the semicolon. You want to see top 5. All you're going to use is your limit clause. Limit total amount, right? So we are going to use this p amount. Control C, we are going to use this. Control V. limit this amount. We want to limit 10. We want to only see 10 entries. Yeah. So if you scroll down now, you only see 10 columns. Okay. But if we had ordered our work by total amount, we would have seen 10 total amounts, right? But we ordered by customer ID. So it depends on what question or what problem you're trying to solve. If you're asked to show top 10 total amount of customers, what you're going to order your this by is your total amount. Okay, so we are going to use, instead of customer ID, we are going to use this right here, Control C, Control V. Okay, so your limit clause is your filtering clause. It shows you exactly what you want to see. So can you now see? It's going to show you your top 10. But I'm supposed to use descending and not ascending because I want to see from the highest to the lowest, right? So SQL is quite easy. You just need to know which statement comes before the other. You just need to understand the different statements. As long as you have an idea of your Excel, how to use your Excel, what your filtering clauses in Excel is, what you use your if condition for, what you use your sorting for, then your SQL will be easy to understand. So that's basically it. So you can see your total amount sorted from highest to lowest. All right. Yeah, and if you check, there's no null, but if there's null, you will see. Okay. So I'm going to be explaining the left join in the next class. So we already have an understanding of what the inner join does. Your inner join shows you exact matches of the columns or the customer IDs that you have in table 1 that you also have in table 2. It shows you only what they have. It doesn't concern itself with is there any other extra column in or extra row in your second table. No, it only shows you what each of these table have that is exactly the same. If your table 1 has customer ID 1 and table 2 has customer ID 1, it will show you. So whatever the two tables have is what your inner join displays for you. So I'll see you in the next class. Bye.